Loch Ness has a reputation for disappointing people, and it isn't the loch's fault. Most visitors give it a whole day, much of it behind a coach for a castle they queue for. What does that detour cost? You're with Celtic Explorer. Let's get off the main road. 40 miles, that's the whole argument. Going by Loch Ness instead of the direct road costs you that, plus an hour and a half behind the wheel. Not a day. Call it half an afternoon, and later, the place on this water I'd rearrange an afternoon for. No ticket, no queue, and it isn't the castle. How far out of your way is it really? Two roads go north out of Perth, and both of them get you to Skye. One cuts inland over the high pass and down to Speen Bridge. The other runs the whole length of Loch Ness. Same start, same finish. Almost everyone frames this as Perth to Fort William. Wrong comparison. If Skye is where you're sleeping, you never touch it. Now, the bit nobody draws for you, those two roads meet. The one by Loch Ness turns west off the A82 onto the A887, and 15 miles down Glen Moriston that road runs into the A87. From there west you're on identical tarmac either way, which is why the argument shrinks to 40 miles in one junction. So does it matter which side of Scotland you're driving up? Less than you think. Come up the west through Loch Lomond and past Glencoe, and you join the Great Glen at the bottom instead of the top. Same manoeuvre, run up the Glen, cut west to the A87. It measures about 40 miles from either end. Nobody gets this loch cheap. What changes is what's already on the road. Down the A9, you come the whole length of the loch, so the castle is on your line and the canal town is a short spur. From the west it's reversed. Stop at Fort Augustus and the loch costs you about 20 extra miles. Carry on to the castle and back and you're at the full 40. The castle is the expensive half. But driving was never what people lose here. Where does the whole day go? What do you get for it? Three things. One loch, one castle, one canal town. Take them in order. 23 miles end to end and more fresh water in it than every lake in England and Wales put together. You won't feel a foot of that from the driver's seat. The castle is Urquhart, half an hour south of Inverness on a green headland in the water. Its own garrison blew it up in 1692 so the Jacobites couldn't use it. And it is exactly where your day goes as of publication. An adult ticket booked online is £14. Here's the catch. You're booking two things, not one. A time slot to get in and a parking bay. That's free, but it still has to be booked. Arrive in July without both and you're turned away. Want to go in? Book weeks out and take the first slot. It opens at 9:30. The tour buses out of Inverness land mid-morning, and by 11 you're sharing it with several hundred people. Check the times before you travel. They shift with the season. Didn't book? You may not be going in. Once the online tickets are gone, there's nothing left at the gate, and in summer they go weeks ahead. Decide early or decide against it. And the monster. 2 exhibitions in Drumnadrochit, neither a reason to reroute a holiday. Moving on, because none of this decides whether the loch is worth seeing. That's the bank you drive on. Which side should you actually drive? Everyone takes the A82. It's the main road. It runs the northwest shore, and it's why people come away underwhelmed. Long stretches of it are walled in by conifers. You get glimpses, you get the back of a coach, and nowhere much to stop. The other bank has 2 B roads and almost no traffic. Out of Inverness, you pick up the B862 and you're at Doors in about 15 minutes. Doors has a shingle beach and a view straight down 23 miles of water. That is the shot people drive the wrong road looking for. Then the B852 drops you to the shoreline and runs on to Foyers, where there's something worth knowing in the gorge. There's a waterfall down there, and if it looks thin, that's not the weather. Back in 1896, they dammed the river above it. Britain's first big industrial hydro scheme, built to run an aluminium smelter right on the shore. The faults have been living on the leftovers ever since. People objected at the time. They lost. Past White Bridge, the road climbs out of the trees onto open moor up to its highest point, and the Glen opens underneath you. No screening, no coaches because they can't get up there. Right, the correction. Giving the Great Glen a morning. Go down the quiet side and come back on the A82, or don't come back at all. Single track in stretches with decent passing places, and allow 90 minutes for 35 miles, not the 40 it looks like, and it puts you down exactly where the thing I promised you is. Is there anything here worth stopping for that you don't have to book? Yes, one thing, and it's free. Fort Augustus sits at the far end of the loch, and a canal walks straight up through the middle of the village. 5 locks in a staircase, climbing the high street. No gate, no ticket, no time slot. You stand on the towpath, feet from the boats. A yacht takes anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half to climb the flight, depending on what's queued in front of it. You can watch the entire thing. This is the Caledonian Canal, 60 miles from Inverness to Fort William, and only 22 of them were dog. The rest is Loch Ness and 2 smaller lochs sitting in a fault that runs clean across across Scotland. Telford opened it in 1822. 29 locks, 12 years late, well over budget. The A82 crosses the canal here on a swing bridge, so if it's open against you, you're not delayed, you're watching. If you want the water from a boat, the trips leave from the canal basin here rather than from the city. 50 minutes, about £22 for an adult at the time of writing. Check before you go. And on a Skye run, this village cost you almost nothing. It's 7 miles past the A887 turn off, so carry on down the loch, then double back to turn west. About 20 minutes of driving there and back for the best hour on this water. If Ireland's your other week, we've run the same arithmetic on the Ring of Kerry, which direction to drive it and what to cut. Which leaves the question you came here with, worth the detour? Yes, and the road you're on tells you which half to take. Coming down the A9, the castle is already on your line. That's your one. Book it weeks out, take the first slot and treat the canal town as a bonus if the day's running well. Coming up the west, the locks are on your line and the castle is what doubles your mileage. Take Fort Augustus, let the castle go, and you've bought the Great Glen for 20 miles. And if you're coming from Inverness, this is the shape of the day. South Bank out of town on the B-Ains 6-2, stop at the beach. Walk down to the gorge, over the moor, and be at Fort Augustus by lunchtime. Give the staircase a proper R. Then back up the 7 miles west on the A887 and you're on Skye for dinner. 5 hours of your life, one of them spent on a towpath watching a boat go uphill. The version I'd skip is the full one. Castle plus cruise plus exhibition plus the drive. That's the day that earns this loch its reputation. Pick one and give the rest back to the road. And if you're not stopping at all, don't come. 40 miles past water you can barely see is a bad trade. 40 miles, one junction, that's all this ever was. The Ring of Kerry one is on the end card. If Islands next, that's the road for today. If it saved you a wrong turn, you know what to do. Haste you back